Good morning. Welcome to the TetraDecaHedron through Myopia Insight. I just wanted to thank you and welcome to my new subscriber. At one point, I had like 91, and then y'all kind of just dropping off because whatever. Maybe I look fake, maybe I'm boring. I know for sure I'm weird, but I've known that for a long time. But I wanted to tell you about the TetraDecaHedron. So I've known about this for quite the longest time. I used to think that I was being visited by a spaceship, and it was kind of like a dream I had, but I was lifted up, and there was a really strangely shaped, well, not strangely shaped, it was a spaceship, but it had a lot of windows in it. It had a lot of windows and different people looking out of different windows at me. And I always thought, I was uplifted or abducted or whatever by aliens. And I've had those experiences of out of body, where I'm looking down on myself, and I've had the experience of mirroring myself, so that when I was looking out into the environment, I saw only myself. I think that's myopia. And there was an absolute blindness. I could see through myself, and I could walk down the steps, or had to really pay attention to walk down the steps, but I could make it down steps and walk and stuff like that. But I was actually having to look through a mirror to be able to go through the world. So that was a time too. At any rate, I've had many different names. Me as a person have had many different names. Jane Ellen was my first one, and Baby Jane. And then that was changed to Lannis, Blythe, and then that was changed to Lonnie. And later on, when I had the choice, I went back to Blythe, but then there was some other people that, I don't know, I thought they were from a song or something that I had made up, but there's Maria Elena, Thierry Dubois. I remember I got busted by a friend once, and he said, you are Lonnie. And I said, mais non, je suis Thierry Dubois. I'm Thierry Dubois. And he said, no, but you have the same scar on your leg. And so pop, I was like, whoa. And then at that time, things go by. That was when I was quite young. I think in junior high school or something like that. Time went on. I moved away from home. I got pregnant. I got married. I got divorced. I got pregnant. I ran away from home. Home being Hawaii, and went to San Francisco and became a hippie, and was in this flying saucer guru type of clan thing, I don't know, for 2 minutes. And then I met Zerfas, who had just gotten out of prison. And I'm recalling this, I can put it all together, but they're stories, it's not like some of it I lived through. But anyway, while I was with him, I was nobody. Literally nobody, no name, no connections, everything cut off, and just a horrible alliance with the devil, a very abusive, beyond, also with our child. So I had that child, and he was taken away from me. He was taken away from us after he was battered by his dad, and somehow I couldn't muster up the lioness within me to protect my own child. I got battered too. At any rate, that was when I was a young adult, and right before I found the practice of Buddhism. Once I found the practice of Buddhism of chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, I became Blythe again. Blythe, which means happy, So I was seeking my happiness, and I got many, many benefits, including getting my son back from the foster homes and raising him in a really bumped up, weird life where I got married and divorced 4 times, or maybe it was 3 times after that. And my work persona was a completely different persona than what I was at home. And on nights out, I met people in the street who said, hey, ¿Cómo estás? How you doing, Maria Elena? Or, hey, how are you? And then they knew me. And me, I didn't know them. So, it's been that kind of way. And then, I mean, it's just like I have a degree. I have degrees. Somehow I got a degree in education and a degree in library science, and I've worked professionally. But there's separations. There were separations. And really, it's very difficult for me to recall or remember the life that we've lived as a continuity. The memories are more like vignettes or maybe a photograph I've seen, and that's how I kind of recall it, or that's the story that I tell because I saw that photograph of what happened in my life or our life. And it's only been recently in the last 3 years that I realized I have dissociative identity disorder, or a degree of that, which is called OSDD, other specified dissociative disorders, which is in the what the heck is that, DSM, or it's a diagnosable, treatable disease. Treatable, not really. I mean, it's not reversible. I will always have my different personalities, and I guess there's 14. So let's speak of that then. The vehicle is a tetraDecaHedron, which is kind of like a kaleidoscope thing, but it has 14 sides. These names came to me. I didn't make this stuff up. In the early stages, the tetraDecaHedron, and I had to look it up. What the heck is a tetraDecaHedron? Well, it's actually the most stable shape that we know of. Celery, that crunch of celery, look it up. It can contain the most matter, it has the most capacity because of its shape, and it's also very stable. So I was delighted to hear those aspects of it. Anyway, and I knew about my inner world. It was something that I thought it was a dream or something, but I knew about it was an apartment building where everybody lived in, but it was really crickety stairs you had to go up, and the doors were kind of open, or maybe they were shut, and people moved back and forth, but I didn't really know any of the people. And the building was not stable, anyway. So at the beginning of my understanding that I had a dissociative disorder and that I had a system within me, which is a tetraDecaHedron, names came to me, names of my different entities, like myopia. Clearly, I've always known about myopia. I mean, I've always known I was myopia. Somehow, this is all in a background thing that's going on. But there's also Chalice, who holds pain, and Canopy, which I think is a young girl, the Canopy, looking at the ceiling, and then afterwards, having a problem with using the bathroom. That's what I figured out. So that's the very specific entities and people. But I also have David, who was always my best friend when I was a kid. As a matter of fact, I recall saying to Mom, I was Lonnie growing up, saying to Mom, call me David. Call me David. I'm David. Call me David. But she wouldn't call me David. But Marcia did sometimes, And so David, I thought, was my make-believe friend. And then also as a teenager, David grew up with me. He didn't always, I don't know how it went, but I remember mourning the loss of being able to go back to that same dream at night where my good friend David would greet me there. I didn't know his name when I recalled these dreams, but I know David, and I could go back into the same dream. And then after things got really, really chaotic in my late teens, and I got married, I think when I was 18, I was pregnant with another guy's. Anyway, long stories, right? And so David I was always waiting for her when she was until she come and night and stay by me. But we were just the best of friends, and I was waiting for her. And then after a long time, she never come. She thought that the dream was gone. She didn't know why. She's not dreaming like that no more. But it wasn't a dream. It was me, like waiting for her, but she never come. So, and unfortunately, I was watching her, collide with reality, and sexuality and stuff like that. But I couldn't do nothing about it until, there'd been a couple times where I stepped in and rescued her. But for the most part, there was nothing. I had no power, in the movement of the life. So, yeah. So anyway, that's David, and he's one of our protectors, and we have 14 different ones, and so anyway, that's a bit about our system. We've been in therapy for well, we've been looking for a therapist for a long time. Originally, we were diagnosed with what the heck is that called? It's a borderline personality disorder. Twice we was diagnosed with a borderline personality disorder, and I thought, like, it's not a big deal, man. It's just a borderline. You're not really into it. You're just on the border, right? Yeah. But so anyways, finally. I know we knew we had trauma, right? So we're trying to look for somebody can listen to us and we can trust. So finally, after a long time, and all the different altars kept coming out and stuff like that. And yeah, we got some really smart people, in there. And anyways, so finally we found Heather. She's so awesome. Yeah, internal resolutions. And but we don't come out too much when we go to see her because we have I don't know. We're trying to deal with the day-to-day, trying to make progress in the day-to-day. That's one vow I made when I came out, and I realized, I have a system that I have to live on a day-to-day basis and raising these two grandkids that I've adopted, So I got to stay more in the outer world. So I made every effort to bring the outer world, the inner world to the outer world, so we could be everybody together and kind of raise these kids, So, but anyway, it's nice to come visit you at the TetraDecaHedron. I hope I didn't talk too long. Yeah, come back. And thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Have a great day. Bye.